Hi guys, this is Carolina Varsity. We're in our 2015 season, and we're at round two of the 4AA playoffs. And we've got number 10, Ardrey Kell, going over to play number two, Hough, in a rematch from a game earlier this year. I'm Dale Ross.
Now, Matt Marr, the pit man. Let's take a look at it here. Obviously, both teams coming off victories in the first round. Ardrey Kell over South Neck, Hough over West Neck. Like you said, rematch for the non-conference thriller that Hough won 41-37 with a defensive stop at the end of the game.
Right.
Offense was crazy in that game on both sides, and in that game, the Ardrey Kell passing game was making big plays over the top. And of course, Bryce McGinley did his thing all over the field on the offensive side of the ball.
Mm-hmm.
I think one of the differences is he'll be on the defensive side of the ball a lot more in this game than he was in the first one. But looking at the passing game, the Hough safeties are going to have to be ready to help out in the middle of the field. I think Smith and Osborne on the outside can handle things in their areas. You might see some cover four going on there with Smith and Osborne taking care of the outside.
Mm-hmm.
Safeties have got to play on the inside if Ardrey Kell's attacking that middle of the field. And that's something they might want to do because linebackers in coverage hurt Hough last week against West Meck. West Meck was running a play with a wheel route with the back coming in motion and then going down the sideline. And the linebacker was picking him up in the zone. And that running back was beating that linebacker a couple times. And West Meck got big plays off that. That's how they scored their touchdown off that same exact play.
Yes.
So look for Ardrey Kell to kind of try to get that matchup with someone in their roster in the running game or in the pass game, I should say.
Mm-hmm.
Ardrey Kell defense is going to have to be ready for a much improved running attack from Hough. Hough is running the ball really well inside. They run a lot of counters and zone plays out of the shotgun. They motion, I guess you would call it an H-back, and try to gain an advantage of that side, or they'll kind of misdirect it, motion them one way, go back the other inside with the counter. So those are the things Ardrey Kell's going to be ready to stop on the run game. Hough passing game wise, a lot of if they get zone coverage, they're really good at sitting down in the zones, taking advantage of those voids, and Gibbs is really on point in his reads and making that. Man coverage, they're looking for, something weak. They'll go trips one side, isolate someone on the backside. Sean Hershey had his touchdown on the backside post against one-on-one coverage when they went trips one side. And they're doing a good job. They put Osborne on the trip side, make you think about him, and then they're going away from him, kind of using him as a decoy.
Right.
Against West Meck is what they did. Now, he may be more prevalent in the offensive game plan this week. And also, Smith caught a touchdown pass. He was lined up outside, went and caught a go route. He's got good sides, good hands, so you got to be accountable for them when they're on the field on offense. Obviously, shouldn't have to be said, but don't kick the Osborne in the kicking game. At this point, I'm kicking the ball out of bounds, taking it on the 30 or 35.
Right.
For Hough, they got to account for McGinley when he's on the field on defense. You mentioned his pass breakup on the goal line. In the passing game, if you see he's going one way, I'm going to try to throw opposite.
Right.
At safety, the thing is, Hough doesn't run a lot of routes to the middle of the field. So McGinley's effect on the game may come up in run support.
Right.
Coming up on those inside runs, if those guys breaks, those linemen get to second level, McGinley's that last line of defense. He's making those tackles that could go for touchdowns. They're going for first downs instead. But I think it's shaped up to be a heck of a game. Ardrey Kell's defense obviously improved. Hough, I thought, it's funny. We interviewed Jackson Gibbs, the quarterback. He said their focus was really focused on starting well because they're such a strong second half team.
Right.
They're going to have to start well here. Against West Meck, I think that the way they started, that they were able to get away with it, but I think that's going to be a focus this week. Starting fast and finishing strong like they always do.
Well, you saw them last week. I saw them the week before against Vance, and that was a game that they did not really get going until the second half as well.
Right.
And they seem to have had that, if it's a problem, all year, especially here as they went through the Mecca. But then some people explained it to me that it's also about conserving some of the players because they do have a number of two-way players, and if they get too explosive early on, then they'll not have those players when they need them maybe later in the game. So I don't know how much that'll play a factor. I think for this game has all the potential. And first, we'll tell you the report says Hough uh, 33-18 over Ardrey Kell.
Okay.
So that's a close game. That's a two-score game. One touchdown PAT and one touchdown with a 2-point conversion, and so it's a close. That's a close ball game. That a bounce here or there and a turnover here or there can obviously make it a lot closer. But Ardrey Kell will have to bring the defense that they brought to the South Met game.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, can they do that? And can we really say that Huff's offense is on par with South Mex? I think they're going to have to bring maybe even a little bit better defensive ball game, because I do believe Huff's got a better offense than South Mecklenburg.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
So, and when you look at that, one of the key problems for them or areas is going to be maintaining Osborne when he's on the field. So you're going to expect that. I would expect that they'll man McGinley on Osborne and not try to let him run free too much in a zone, because he can. If there's not space, he can create it, and all those things. And I would expect that McGinley's going to play the whole game. This is another. You lose, you're going home. So they're going to throw all stops at everything. And of course, if he's having to, if I'm Huff, I'm probably going to put Osborne on the field a little bit more, just so that I can wear McGinley down a little bit more to make him less effective on the other side. Because I don't know what Ardrey Kell could do if they did not, how they could cover Osborne. I just don't know that I want to let him run loose in a zone unless I've got a lot of good guys that can, make up ground quickly. I don't know that I want to do that. I think I want to put my best athlete on him in shadowing.
Mm-hmm.
On the flip side, on the flip side, obviously McGinley is going to be the threat with the run and the throw. And I wouldn't be surprised to see Osborne playing some spy on him. That might actually be a tactic that I would use.
It depends on if Huff feels like someone else can cover on the outside.
Well, obviously they would have to be able to contain, because if he runs loose trying to chase him down, which I think he could do. That Osborne.
Well, here's a factor. Stevens, the linebacker that's been out for Huff, might be back for this game.
Right.
Still kind of in the air.
And I think the linebacker plays fairly good with Huff, at least for run coverage. And I don't know. I'm just thinking one of my tactics would be, it seems that most things revolve around McGinley. So the more that you can tire him out, and it's maybe not a bad tactic, because Osborne can wheel, but of course you got to be careful. You're wearing out one of your key guys, and once you get past Osborne, they're a good solid team. One of the things I like about Huff is they are a team. They play like a team. They're not loaded with stars everywhere, but they've got a number of good ball players. Don't let any of those people kid you with that. There's a number of D1 quality players on that team, but it is a different team when you get past Osborne, obviously, because he's a game changer for anybody. Played at Mallard Creek, played at Butler. It doesn't matter where you put him. He's a game changer. So I think what's going to be important is going to be what I saw from Gibbs in the Vance game was how well he managed the game.
Oh, yeah. Very impressed with that.
You mentioned he throws, he doesn't throw the hardest ball. He's not like he's throwing a ball on a rope, but he's accurate. He makes good decisions. He reads well. He makes good decisions. He makes good throws, which makes up, and he doesn't seem to make mistakes and manages, and that's going to be very important in this ball game, because one of the things I expect Huff to do is to control, play control, power, smash mouth football, which is what it looks like they are better suited to playing, and sprinkle in a little bit of the to Osborne. I was thinking if your kicker can't kick the ball to the end zone, confidently kick to the end zone, what do? We've already seen him run down Osborne, run down from the hash mark, right hash mark, go pick up a ball that's almost going out of bounds at the pylon, and he scores a touchdown on you.
You mentioned special teams.
Yeah.
Hough, I think, has the advantage with their kicking game. Zach Starnes, he hit a 43-yard field goal last week.
Right.
And he was just wide left on, I think, a 52-yard try. So, a game like this came down to 4 points last time.
Right.
It comes down to the end. Huff's got that advantage in the field goal and punting game. They got to pin Ardrey Kell back.
Good point. I know we talked a lot about this because I think this is going to be a good game. This has all the markings for being a really, really good game.
You going to be there?
I'm thinking about it. It's definitely a very, very short list game for sure. Very, very short list game. I'm just trying to decide I want to get them this week or next week. If they make it to next week, but they might not make it to next week, and I don't know. So I'm thinking about it seriously. Yeah, I think you guys are gonna have a great ball game. I really do. I think it's gonna be. I don't know that it's gonna be as high scoring as it was the last time. I don't think that it will be, but I will not be surprised if it's as close.
Well, remember the old adage, and Ardrey Kell's already seen it once.
You know what? That's right, and it proved its worth last week. That was a horrible draw for South Mecklenburg simply because they just beat them the week before.
And that old adage is it's hard to beat a good team twice.
So, is there enough gap between that last loss? Is the whole thing? How much is in that mind of Hough? It will be hard to beat this team, I think. Again, it's going to take a good night. All right. Well, thanks for watching and hope you guys have a great ball game.